Good morning, boys and girls. All right, I know we've been here for quite some time. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I'd like to thank, first of all, the management of Shastri Park, all the speakers, the shareholders, everyone that was here today. And most importantly, I'd like to thank all of you for actually being here today to hear all of us speak, because at the end of the day, we want the best for all of you. All right? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Naushad Khan, and I am a published author and entrepreneur. All right? I come from a really small town called Overport in Durban, and it's been a long, long journey for me to get to where I am today. A lot of these speakers have spoken today about the importance of reading and, for your schoolwork, the importance of reading. Like some of these speakers have said, you increase your vocabulary, you gain more knowledge, and that is important for you at the stage that you are in school. But looking maybe 4 years ahead, you're all in grade 9, 4 years from now, you guys won't be in school anymore. You'll be in the real world. Some of you will be in university, some of you will be in college, some of you will be starting careers. Some of you will be, who knows where you'll be in 4 years? Only you will know where you will be in 4 years from now. But you guys like to talk about reading, and you know the importance of reading. Yes, gain knowledge, vocab, but I like to speak about the long-term effect of reading, because I started reading from the age of 5 years old. I never went to preschool. Never ever attended a preschool. I went straight from grade 1 into school, and right through to grade 12 I matriculated. But I never went to preschool to learn my ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. That came from reading. I walked into a library for the first time at the age of 5 years old with my parents, and they applied for a library card for me. But not just for me, they applied a library card for each of themselves as well. Because here's the thing, the rule with a library card is you can borrow up to 8 books for up to a period of 2 weeks. However, from the moment I picked up my very first book and read it, I could not put it down. I was running through 24 books a week. That is including doing my schoolwork, homework, assignments, playing with friends. I read 24 books a week. And that was because I was privileged enough. The library I went to, they allowed me to borrow books on my card, my parents, both of their cards, and that equates up to 24 books. But I would not need that 2-week period. In 1 week, all those books would be read, and I'll be going back to the library, returning those books, only to leave the library with yet again another set of 24 books, which I would take another week to read. But reading so much and so much and so much, not only did my vocabulary and my knowledge increase, but so too my own mind just started conjuring up ideas on its own. But when you're 5 years old, you come up with childish ideas. So a 5-year-old is writing stories about talking dinosaurs, kids going on a voyage to space, really ridiculous things. However, as I got older, not only did my knowledge and my vocabulary increase, but so too did my stories that I was writing down. By the age of 10, I was writing a Western novel. Who here knows what a Western novel is? Okay, basically a Western novel is your cowboys and red Indians, that kind of stories. I was writing at the age of 10 years old, which is unheard of that a 10-year-old is writing that kind of story at that age. It's far too mature for a 10-year-old to be writing that kind of story. But I was writing it, and I had amassed a box full of stories that I had written. Why? Because my mind could not stop working. My mind was so into reading and so juiced up on ideas and words and information that my mind was working so fast. I would write down stories. Within one night, I would be done with one story. And my teachers also were so enamored that a child who had not even gone to preschool to learn his ABCs, he learned it from a book, from reading books, was so bright at going into grade 1 at the age of 6 years old that she called in my parents, and they were so excited that I was so bright for my young age. Then I went on to high school. Probably the hardest years of my life. I know many of you in high school, you're going through a lot of trials and tribulations, not only at school, maybe even outside of school. A lot of the speakers spoke about peer pressure. They spoke about, drugs. They spoke about littering and all of those things. All of that, all are vices that you guys are exposed to at your young age. I would counter that vice through reading. I would take myself straight to the library, sit down, read a book, maybe take a few home, and stay inside and read and learn and study and do my homework and my assignments. And that got me through the toughest years of my life. Because when you're a teenager, you're going through a lot of things. Your hormones are raging, you're going through puberty, things are stuff are happening to you up here in your body, around you. There's so many forces that are affecting you, but I countered it through the medium of reading. That was my escape. Because I didn't have the access to a lot of the luxuries of life that a lot of people have access to: PlayStations, TV, cell phones. I got away and I escaped from all these bad vices through reading. At the age of 17, it was I still remember it like it was yesterday. It was the December 2011 holidays. I sat down and I wrote this story right here, Race Champ. And originally it was supposed to be 3 parts. Originally it was supposed to be 1 book, but when I looked at it, I was like, no, this is too long. So I broke it up into 3 parts, right? I went to matric the next year, I matriculated, and I went straight into the working world after that. I didn't go to any college or university because I knew already what I wanted to pursue. And what I wanted to pursue personally was not in a college or university. For some of you out here, maybe you're undecided, maybe you already know what you want to do. If you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, you have to go to university. There are things you're going to have to know, learn, study, memorize, and write a test about so that you know what you're doing when you go out into the real world and you start your career. But for me, I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to be an author, and I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to improve people's lives. So what did I do? I went straight into the working world and I worked. I started from the bottom. Now I'm here. Famous line by a rapper named Drake, for those of you who listen to hip-hop music. So, I started at a very low-end job, doing the menial work that no one else wanted to do. But I persevered, I strived, because I knew one day I'll be standing with this book in my hand and officially say that I am proudly a locally published author. I collected up money, I saved, I worked hard, and then the real work started. Yes, making money is hard, but getting to where you want to be is harder, because I wanted to get published. So I approached publishers, right? Left, right, and center. I'm going in the yellow books, I'm going on Google, I'm going out in the street, I'm going to the Publishers Association of South Africa. I got their catalogs. I exhausted that entire catalog of 400 pages of contacts. From pillar to post, nobody wanted to publish me. Everyone was like, you're unestablished, we don't like your story, our submissions are closed, we don't accept your stories, please improve and polish your book. There were some publishers who wanted to change everything about me, my image, my story, my cover, everything they wanted to change. And I was like, no, I'm not going down that road. There were even some rather bad publishers who strung me along for about 4 or 5 years with no end in sight, until I finally cut the string and I said, I'm going to do this on my own. But you know what? Patience and perseverance pays off. Who here knows who J.K. Rowling is? Okay, who here knows who Harry Potter is? Yes, famous movie franchise. Before it was a movie franchise, it was a popular book franchise written by J.K. Rowling. Now, J.K. Rowling, she had approached 13 publishers and all 13 turned down her story. They told her that a book and a story like Harry Potter would not sell. Yet, here she is today, a published author, very successful, very rich if I might add, and she's made a lot of money and a lot of success out of Harry Potter. Despite the fact that 13 other publishers told her no, she got 1 publisher that told her yes. And that's something I want you to take home with you guys. Out of 10 people, 9 people might tell you no. 1 person says yes, and that 1 yes is all you need to get your foot in the door and start out whatever it is you want to do. So I got published, yes, I got picked up by a publisher. However, this happened in 2020. Now, who knows about a very global event that took place in 2020? Anybody? Around March, April, something very catastrophic globally took place. COVID-19, yes, correct. I was in the midst of getting published. So the cover design was done, everything was done. I just needed to get printed, and here lockdown hits. Printers closed down, publishers closed down, everything closed down, and I thought to myself, after 8 long years of trying to get published, the doors are just closing in on me when I just got so close to achieving my goal. But you know what? Like they say, patience is a virtue. Patience and perseverance paid off. After 3 or 4 months, the world opened up again. Not the entire world, but just enough I needed, like printers, to get my book published, and I can stand here today as a proudly published author. And this cover, guys, I just wanted to bring up something about this cover. You see this cover right here was my idea, right? When you look at the cover of the book, what do you see? You see cars, you see bikes, you see different colors, you see title belts. All of that was out of my own mind, my own imagination, because I want to change something. Who here has heard of the saying, don't judge a book by its cover? You've all heard of that. Well, yes, it is good to not judge a book by cover when it comes to human beings. However, I wanted to change that with books, because I feel if you open up a book and you see cars on the cover, what you see on the cover should be what you're getting inside, and that's exactly what you get inside this book. You're reading about cars, you're reading about racing, you're reading about people competing for a championship belt in the world of legal racing. So that's why I wanted to change that whole narrative of what you get on the cover is what you get inside. So I finally got published, and I was in newspapers. I was in the Rising Sun, I was in the Weekly Gazette, I was in the Daily, I was everywhere. All over social media, I was all over the newspapers, media, everywhere. Publishers were coming to me to ask me, can you help me to get published? And with my business acumen, because prior to this, I started a company called Multi Marketing, which is a holding company where I assist businesses with marketing, business solutions, all that stuff. I decided to open up a publishing wing to help other authors like myself, because I don't want someone to go through another 8-year struggle that I did. I want to help them. So I did. If you look over there, you'll see a range of books that I have published. I've assisted authors, not just from South Africa, not just from KZN, but across the country and across the globe, in places like Australia, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, the list goes on. And their books are being distributed internationally across the world. So, as you can see, I stand before you today as a successful person. However, it all started with reading. Like I said, I didn't grow up with the luxuries of TV and cell phones and PlayStations and all that stuff. I stuck my head into a book every single day, 24 books a week. Now, I'm not saying you guys should read 24 books a week, but try at least 1 book a week. That 1 book will turn into 2, 2 will turn into 3, and eventually reading will be so inculcated in your life that you become a success. And I'm not a denominator, ladies and gentlemen. I am one of many people. Who here knows who Bill Gates is? Founder of Microsoft. He read up to 50 books per week. Who here knows who Elon Musk is? He is the richest man in the world right now. Born from South Africa, now making it big in the USA. However, he said that he read up to 40 books per month. And that's coming from a guy who has 3 business interests already, and still to this day reads 40 books a week, or a month rather. So put yourself into reading. There are many successful people out there who started off reading. So guys, you guys got a library in the school, you've got another library outside the school. There are access to books. You don't have to buy books. You can go to a library, borrow books, read, increase your vocabulary. You become better in English in school, increase your knowledge. That will also help you later on in life. And you will be able to become a success, because there's a popular saying, and I'll leave you with this, is that readers are leaders. And I, Naushad Khan, am living proof of that, because I was a reader and now I am a leader. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, please, I encourage all of you, try reading. And listen, I know it's hard. You've got schoolwork, you've got assignments, you've got social lives to keep up with. How do you inculcate reading into your life? Go to a library, borrow a book at night before you fall off to sleep. At least 1 page or 2 pages should be enough. You'll read more pages, you'll get increase in more knowledge. So boys and girls, thank you very much, and I hope you do enjoy.